Good morning, happy people. Thank you for joining us for our Word Room. Everything in today's video is never financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. Everything's just for entertainment, educational, and comedic purposes only. I ate red crayons for breakfast. Trading in the markets carries substantial risk. Never trade more than you can afford to lose, and especially be aware against high leverage trading. Past performance is never indicative of a future performance. All right, here's just a brief look update for SQD. Squid coin, because this is a top, we can parabolic it out. We're going to place it at the lowest low. This is going to stress the border. This is going to stress the plat where the parabolic levels out. So this would be our phantom leveled out parabolic. So we can label this as a PL or PHL parabolic, okay, for just abbreviation. And that's going to be closer to 0.724 and 0.58. So this is where we want to make sure we focus on this being a support. Now, I'm not saying that the supports here at 10 won't be a support, but if our angle is not holding, you're going to be looking for squid to come much lower. Again, I'm not bullish this crypto at all. We did a lot of information on the other exchange that showed heavy selling at this area, and we should have been resisting 3 times. It was heavy selling on a previous exchange, and this Gate.io does show some accumulation, but it's all the way on the low side on this side. So if there's going to be some more buying, it's going to be here. On the other exchange, the volume is so massive on this up move that I really think that somebody's dumping heavy using that exchange. And it does help to use volume on multiple exchanges if you got it, or if you see something that's too far unusual. Okay. All right, USDT.D, I see messiness during the week. Luckily, we got to close where we need to for the weekly chart, so I'm going to show you that first. So on the weekly chart, we can see that this down move has been broken. The close is above this area, so you can see that white candle. It's right above the white line, and that's what you need to be playing in this delay territory. So that does confirm the delay, which means things should be a bit messy. That's going to be some bearish things for crypto as this goes up, and some sharp moves, but that means that the real bull run doesn't start until later in maybe October, or even as far as December. As you can see, I can see December 15th week. So really we can still be playing in here, and the bull run doesn't really start until we're in this move right here, or until we're in a solid resistance, possibly at the targets that I've been giving you guys, 497, 4.88, based on target system. So they're already in the sky, plotted for you. The other thing we can see about this crypto is that we should be rejecting off of the event line. So once you break up into health, you're only supposed to go as far as your event line. If you break above that event line, that tells you more very important information. So this line is supposed to be the resistance, and all we do is duplicate that line in between the highest energy center. It's there. Now luckily I already have it on here for you guys. I've had it on here for you guys, so you know where it's at. That means that this number right here, 4.162, is supposed to be the resistance, and that's exactly where the resistance is. That's where we try to go above and stop right there. Event line principle is very powerful. If you're not using it, you're missing out. Zooming a little bit farther down is going to confirm more of the messiness. If you look now at a daily chart, you can see that of that event line, we are currently got some closes above it and 3 closes that are coming down and stopping right here. If we continue in this messiness upwards, we're going to be looking to hit the higher side, which is going to be 4.79. And that's the high side of the sword cut range. Now the sword cut range is based on a longer resistance, going to be about right here based on this up move here. So that's going to put some pressure and some selling pressure going about across here at the sword cut in orange. But the target is just above that sword cut. So if we do, I'm going to be actually looking to hit the target, and that's going to be conservative. In this case, it's going to be 4.88 rather than the 4.97. So I'm going to be looking to hit this range about right here if things continue the way they are. To denote this, I'm going to put a little white box on where I think it's going to be hit, and I'm going to change this to a white border and delete the background. So this is the target area where I'm thinking we're going to be hitting. This is going to be a bit bearish, not super bearish, but it's still going to be bearish if we can hit the high side of that area. So those are the prices on the board. I'll circle them out so you guys can see them quite nicely. There is a big disconnect between daily chart and weekly chart. You can see in a few different areas, and I'll cover that in just one more moment. Let me edit this line real quick. Okay. So for the daily chart, we do have an upward support line that acts like this, and this is the territories we should be playing on the daily chart. It's going to be shown in the yellow. So the yellow, when you see me draw a yellow circle, that means I'm looking for this delay. That's a lot of bouncing up and down in these areas. But the daily chart is going to reveal another delay territory to bullish territory, and that's slightly above here. So this is delay in this whole sequence. So I'm just going to put this approximately around here as the average, because there's resistances here, but also in a smaller sense, it is activated for its health. So I told you when we get above here, we're going to be looking to build above and go up, but it's not, I'm not looking for a big bearish crash in the markets, nothing like that. When this goes up, your cryptos are going down. When this is going down, your cryptos are going up. So you want this to be going down. Again, in conclusion, we're looking for 4.17 to be the real big trigger for when all of this starts happening on the weekly chart. And I'm going to put this in the text. So look for this on weekly chart. And the reason we're looking for this on the weekly chart as the number is because the daily chart already was broken to the downside, and it's still not enough. So this daily chart has a big disconnect. The other thing, the reason it has a disconnect is because there's a line that goes approximately here, but it's still missing some of this. And we can see that on the weekly chart. To simplify this a little bit more, we'll go back to that weekly chart, and then we'll finish up with USDT.D. The weekly chart is starting to show evidence of this support emerging right here. There's just a few candles, but we can start looking at that as a possible clue that we should be continuing into that weakness. So we're going to bring this weakness marker a little bit lower, and that's going to give us this buffer room between the top blue line and here. So we can do that for several weeks, all the way up until about December 15th is what we measured, and we can also have room to phase through this line. So again, we haven't phased all the way through here. There's still some hope in this segment, but right now it's not looking good for the markets to come up. If this week we still push down to this side, then it means the weeklies are still dominating, and that's a good thing. Just a few weeks ago we were pressing here. The daily chart had showed us breaking above in August 25th, but we stopped exactly on the white line. So I said, wait, just wait. We're only going to be bullish on the daily chart only. The weekly is still very optimistic that things are going to still come down, and that means the market should be still looking bullish. So it did all the way to challenge one more time that blue line. So we've challenged it a total, I think, many times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. And I'm going to be looking, because the volume has not dried up at the challenges, I'm still looking for us to retest that 4.17. So I'm not looking for a big crash in the markets. I'm looking for this to retrace. Yes, I'm looking for this to make a decision here, but I'm not looking for a crash in the market. I'm not looking for things to go bearish for a long season. I'm still very optimistic, but not so much as like exactly this moment. Okay, but I'm very optimistic. I'll draw those lines and we'll move on. Looking to get into these areas. I'll highlight those numbers: 4.88, 4.79. Okay, that's those areas. All right, so is it clear today? Nope, it is not clear, but we're still in this delay territory. Any other questions? USDT.D, my thoughts and opinions on USDT.D. You know the territory. All right. Let's go to delay for markets. We're going to look at ASTER. Okay, so I just put some comments and thoughts. The next crypto, ASTER, we looked at this just the other day. I wanted to show you guys some new findings on ASTER. I was looking at ASTER on a very short time frame, so I'll give you my previous chart first, and then we're going to go into the updates for today. If I missed your request, make sure you put a request symbol, put an R in front of the request so I know you're making a request. Where's my ASTER chart? Good. Okay, our ASTER chart from just this past week, I think it was on Saturday, I was taking a look at ASTER. We had a small health that appeared in this crypto, and price moved up only a bit. I'm looking for it to come up to sword cut We have very little data. This is the only candles that exist, and it's on a 2-hour chart. We did a target system, and we found two bottoms. Both targets are already hit off the board, one on the bottom side, one on the top side, price responding to both of those areas. And then we had only just one smaller area to look as a support for the volume into this area. But otherwise, this bottom right here, or this bottom here at the moment, is trending the right direction. The volume is starting to deplete. But ultimately, to have a proper base of support and a reversal into health, you want to have an absorption. So you want that volume to get to a point where the volume is drained up. So you want to have low volume, especially at your challenge areas. That means just approximately about 180. So about 180 is where we're looking for that entry for ASTER on the smaller time frame. So this is our previous ASTER chart that we were looking at. Let's look at it today. And I like what's happening right now. We have a few updates for you. Number one, we're going to be looking at that the support and resistance I gave you guys from our previous has been broken to the downside. So that means that we're going to be looking for a low challenge again and back to target system. So we hit to our flat where our target is, and it becomes a multi-touch flat. So since it was an old target, if you wanted to, you can give yourself a blue background with a border indicating that it was a target, the teal border. Just bring that up in thickness and opacity. And then the background, I'm going to fade this just a little bit so you guys can see it a little better. I'm going to pull up the candles in front of price. All right, now let's take a look at volume in just a moment. We have a down move that we can now draw much clearly, and we hit 1, 2, 3 times. If we only bring it to the core right here, we won't be able to see because we're breaking candles above and below. So we're breaking the rules. We don't want to do that. So we're going to try to capture as many of them as possible using just one line if possible, and that's going to give us most of the verification that we need. We've hit it 1, 2, and this could be a verification, or 1, 2, and this is your verification. On a 2-hour chart, this is going to be a resistance. Now, I believe what's going to happen is that we're going to actually fade into another health, and another health is going to appear on ASTER. And the reason is because we can still see strong evidence of reversal bars forming on this small 2-hour chart. So this is a trade you guys can watch during the week. And again, this is the 189 for the weakness, and the support, the initial entries and supports were closer to 180. Let me clone this out for you. So here's our 170, here's our 180 right about there. So this is going to be, again, back to our support. But look at the volume. We challenged once, the volume was high, then coming to low, and then we challenged and the volume's even lower. So every time that we're challenging this area right here, this is a good indication that the volume is being absorbed in this area. A, B, C. So you can see what the volume is actually doing. Okay. And this is a sign that any buyers that may have showed up are buying and winning, or sorry, not B. We'll put some buying like that. Okay. It's a sign for absorption and control. We want to be at this bottom on very low volume. And that if that's the case, then you have what is called a no demand situation. If we see an increase in volume at those areas, that means we're going lower. As it is, we don't have signs that this challenge has been fully absorbed. If we're still being down there, we want to see that volume look like that one. So right now we don't know what we're going to see over the next few hours, but if you see finding support here, and you're finding very low volume, that's the makings for a reversal. The next resistance, therefore, is that one you're looking for here. So if you get it, that means you're going to be looking for a much higher price for ASTER. The other good things we like about ASTER is the RSI. It looks fantastic. So RSI is looking really good. The next thing we're going to be doing is, if this is our flat, we want to place it at the highest energy centers, which would bring us to this area, but also possibly the old all-time high as an adjacent. And the reason we're going to be maybe throwing that on the board, even though it's not super powerful as this one up here, is because the bottom is becoming enforced. So if we able to come up, then we draw this parabolic like this. It becomes a leveled out parabolic. It levels out about where the flat is, so it's almost the same exact area of 180. Okay. When we have that number, what we do is we can duplicate that number and bring the whole energy center, the whole angle, to the highest energy center, which is there. And that's also going to level out as a phantom parabolic. And so this is where we're going to be looking more towards our 260s and 270s range. So right now we're going to be paying attention to that number. So let's update these numbers so you guys can have them on the board. And I'm going to put this commentary so you guys know what I'm expecting over the next few days on ASTER as possible. Very possible. September 29th. ASTER is challenging the entry areas of 180 again on continued decreasing volume. This indicates the challenge area is winning the absorption / control. This needs to be confirmed with a move into health above the down watch line, currently around 170. It's going to be what is this going to be, 183, currently above 183 on this 2-hour chart. If so, I would be looking at 220 and 260 to 70. We're going to say 260, 268 areas. So that's, I'll leave you guys with that. And again, the 220s is going to be where this flat would be placed. It's about target system. So it's about flat. The sword cut somewhere about the 220s. That's where we're looking. And then the other area is the 260s and 270s. Okay, if you get the breakout into that health, you need that. Mama. Okay. Mama. Do I have any other questions, ASTER, at this moment? Mama. Mama. Okay. And I'm actually going to do the same thing I did with this one. Since the target's already hit, we are just going to place the border to let us know it was at one time a border, and the background will be changed to the blue. Okay, 220, 260, and then I'll give you guys the breakout, by the way, as well. Okay, all right, let's move on. No questions? All right. Let me make sure my photo came through. Next breakout, 192. Signs of absorption. To remind you guys, what I'm seeing in the RSI is bullish for ASTER. Very bullish RSI. A lot of fight to the upside. Price is only pulled back approximately 50%. RSI pulling back in the same areas over 200%. RSI bullish price. Okay, I need to now go to based PEPE, BASED, PEPE. Is it? I'm gonna give you a price. Is Superfood there? Superfood. I see one called based PEPE on crypto.com. The price is 7024, is that right?
I think that's right, yeah.
Okay. Crypto.com doesn't have volume. I really want volume, so let me see if I can find it on probably maybe Dex Tools. Let me look to see any major structures, situations I may need to focus on. You don't got a health, that's for sure. Your foundational area is pretty set. And strong, by the way, it appears. And I'll tell you why it's strong. Pay attention to foundational areas. How the foundation starts sets the tempo for the rest of the game. Yep, that's pretty accurate. Look at that. Core hit to the T, July 20 of 25th of 2025. Oh, that's not looking good. A flat you've been challenging for quite a bit is acting like a resistance. The range for it is where the core is going to be approximately here, and you got round structure in that area. Looks a lot like a certain crypto that I was watching that I saw heavy weaknesses on. I don't know if this is the launch of September 24th, but that would not be a good spot to be. If it's up here based on these cores, I would need a higher time frame to more confirm this. There, here, I can do this. It's going to be better. Okay. This explains the messiness, why we challenge one more time. Okay, so we're not going to use that one. But the second one will be here too. And that one's we can use. Yeah, I don't think it's in a good spot. You don't want to be here. What we're going to look at, what I want to look at is the volume of September 28th, September 8th week. We want to check the volume on that chart. If the volume is high on the underside at the challenge, the up bar, that's where the professional selling has to happen. You're going to see this crypto fall. So look for that crypto to fall if you see high volume in that area. Okay. Where we're probably going to fall to, the next logical place is the phantom. So we're going to be looking maybe about right here. I don't have a verification for it. I will use the tiger, and we'll see if that should be what we can use for this. So it should be there. That one act like support already. Support. And then I'm going to use the wick match for tiger, which is going to be, we'll do a dotted line. So our support's supposed to be approximately here based on the tiger line. You take the center of your oscillation, in this case it's a giant triangle, and it gives you the angle that's the average. So this is your support, that's your top, that's your tiger angle. We take that tiger angle and you place it at the relevant energy centers, top and bottom. The more verifications you got when you do your tiger, the better. This is acting like a verification based on this placement right here. And this is acting like a verification for this placement right here. So when we place it here, this is your support. Okay. We place it again here because that became a bottom. And that explains why we're bouncing again on this area. Sometimes that bottom will be a little higher or lower based on the cores, and that's how I use that. But if the core is exactly the same spot, we just use the same spot again. So in this case, the tiger is really just sliding down, maybe ever so slightly, but somewhere around right here. This is signs that we're going to be closing below and looking to the low side. So I'm not really looking for this to be a big bounce for us, but tigers is something we can trust in this area. Okay. If you see your tigers working, use them, because that tells you that oscillation is dominant. All right, I'm going to be looking for the high volume, and then we'll move on. So again, if I see the high volume here, also if you see this challenge around much higher volume increase, you know that your support's more likely going to fail. We'll take a look at that in just a moment, because right now we don't know what the volume shows. So let's see if we can find this anywhere else. Oh,
Not sure if
I got
Coinbase would have it.
Look, MEXC shows it. As long as it's the same price, 7023. Make sure I'm doing the right one. Yep, 7023. Okay, so here we had a straight up parabolic that showed weakness. I think that's all we had at the time. But there should be some volume here that we can use. Now that is interesting. How far did the other one go? The other one went back to October 2025 or 2024. And this one, same. Okay. All right, I'm gonna have my eye on this one. Where is my support? I know how to find it. If my move is into weakness, I need to account for the event line. So my support should be in these areas. So it's going to be here. Let's label that. It's going to be EV Phantom. So we're going to be looking for a support at this area. If price does not hold, that's a sign of weakness. Okay, so we need to see. So therefore I'm going to be looking for a shape that looks like this. And we're going to move into health. Most likely. All right, so let's go over what I think is happening here. There are signs of professional accumulation. Number one, we know there's some signs of professional accumulation because on the down bar, the down move, professionals have to buy on down moves, down bars, and down trends. We have ultra high volume, but the move is to the right and up. How can that be if it was all selling at this area? It's not. Professional selling has to happen on down moves. Here's your down move. I think this is your initial buying. That's going to be your initial buying. Now, when we see the buying coming in, I'm going to mark it here, and I'm going to put professional accumulation. If the professionals are buying here, are they selling at the tops? What kind of volume did we observe? Let's just do this all together. What volume did we observe here? What was the volume at the top?
Looks like it dipped.
Yeah, it dipped. What does that mean? iPad says no interest. They're not interested. So if they're buying here, they're not interested in getting out. Now, there's more buying that happened at the down move on this rising volume here. So we really could say something like this. We could say initial professional accumulation. So we know that this is, just to mark, this is where we started them. We can also use the initial area as our base for what price the professionals are paying. So they're starting to pay these prices. They're comfortable paying those prices. Then the next volume that lasts pretty high for several weeks is just again to the right and up. So it's not falling on that activity. So this is more signs of accumulation. So we got our initial buying and then we got our continued buying, which is we're just are going to put our standard accumulation, professional accumulation. So we can see buying is happening in these areas. Now I'll just put up buying. Now, to win the game, they have to do what? The buyers have to do what to control and absorb and rise prices? They have to do something. What do they have to do? And while you're thinking about the answer, I will mark the VZB, the volumes on block. What do they have to do? It's important.
Absorb the supply?
Yes, they have to absorb the supply. That's correct. It's not enough to accumulate. You have to absorb. So you have to win the game. Now I'm going to draw here, but I need to make sure we mark that lack of interest. So price goes up. They're still in the game. They did not leave. They didn't take their profits here, and I'm going to mark that. I'm going to say lack of interest, and I'm also going to put dot no profit taking. That's important. So you know what price they paid and where they got out. They didn't get out so far at this price level. So they didn't have a strong interest at that price level. All right, the next time we come down, the volume is rising again. What is the relationship in this area from this area to this area? Okay, from the time that we came to the bottom again, the price where they were like, ooh, that's a good price, and they bought. Strawberries were on sale for $1. They bought up a bunch. Strawberries came back to $1. What did they think? Here, you guys tell me. What did they think when the price of strawberries came back to the same price that they bought out before?
Looks like they're still buying, no?
Okay, one says about the same level of buying, says iPad, says Alex, says who else? Okay, iPad says earlier it looked like great absorption. They're accumulating, but it's not absorption yet. Okay, and yes, that's the right answer. They are buying again. When the price of strawberries came down, they're like, ooh, price is on sale again. There's a certain time when you think when pizza's on sale, where we like in our household, we'd be like, oh man, we need to buy some more pizza because it's cheap again. If it's a good price, you're going to buy more. And you keep buying as much as you can until you bought up the supply. Because to win the game, you have to absorb. Now, so we have 4 items. Our initial very large accumulation here on March 2025. Then they bought over the year of 2025. Here's March, April, May, okay, all the way to April. Then price comes up to a high price. They don't want to take profit. In fact, they're still entering at those prices. Then prices come down and they like, ooh, and you can see the rising of the volume on the down move, the next buying. And we could confirm this too. If you guys want to go to the daily chart, you can see that the move is actually into health. But they're buying here at this price. That's called the VZB. So the volume zone block where this is happening. All right, so now we have that. What about this large up bar here? Can somebody tell me about this large up bar? What is happening at that large bar? Is this profit taking? And how can we know if it is or is not? And there's a way to know if it is or is not profit taking. There's 2 ways. One with our logic and one with the actual chart. Can somebody explain this large up bar with about mid volume? What do we need to know about this bar?
Is that an attempt at pushing, or no, it's not very high volume, is it?
It may have been at the time. It may have been. But before we get to that, let's talk about these 2 areas. What is the relationship between area A to area B?
They're about the same.
Okay. They're the same. So we call that equal. What does it mean if the areas are equal? What does it mean for the accumulation campaign? The coordinated effort campaign to accumulate at a certain price. And the prices are 7061 to 7023. What does it mean when the volume's equal?
They're not done getting it all?
Yeah, that's right. Did you hear what he said? They're not done getting it all. In other words, they have not finished absorbing or control. At this point, A to B, and I even put it A, B, they have not absorbed and controlled at that area. We know they haven't absorbed at that area because the volume is still equal. These are the following that let us know. Increase in volume, equal to volume, and still aggregately high in that order. 1, 2, 3. I'm glad you guys are learning and paying attention. Okay, I've been teaching this a lot on Wednesdays. You need to understand this principle. It's going to give you a cutting edge and let you know which ones are more statistically likely to reverse and which ones are statistically likely to challenge again or even fall. In this area, if they have not absorbed, what is the next move that's supposed to happen if you haven't fully absorbed and we go up? What's the next move that's supposed to happen if you haven't fully absorbed and heavy buying is actually happening? Which in this case, it's heavy buying. So we have all this heavy buying, but they didn't win the game. What does it mean if they don't win the game? After these, right here. Price is supposed to go higher or lower?
Lower, there's lower prices.
It's supposed to go lower, but not necessarily low. All that's supposed to happen is you're supposed to challenge again. If it's a strong increase in volume, sometimes you will go lower directly. Sometimes it happens after the 3rd challenge. But the thing that's supposed to happen is you are supposed to go back to the challenge area, which is your VZB, your volume zone block. So all you have to do is look for the initial area of buying. It's there, right? And we should be going where? There. So that's where we should be, right? This is exactly where we should be. This down move is exactly how it's supposed to be. Everybody got that so far? You got this? Okay. When the absorption is not complete, you have to play the Donkey Kong level again. When you don't win the game, you got to play the level again. I saw the documentary, the guy, he played Donkey Kong. He was trying to win. Turns out the guy he's playing against is cheating. he was trying to get a high score and he wins the documentary, but at the last moment that guy turns in a video of him with the world championship, and then he goes to court and they're squilling on him saying he's cheating you. You challenge the level again. So here is exactly where it's supposed to be. Third challenge. We're going to call this area C. Now, to win the game of absorption, what has to happen at point C? To win the game of absorption,
Lower no demand.
we need to see volume going decreasing. That's right. And, oh, sorry. I put 1 here. 1 and 2. The other is going to be no demand / aggregately low. So we need now at this challenge area, if price comes back down, we need low volume. Do we got low volume or no demand volume comparatively?
Yes.
Yes. So what does it mean at this point, area C, for the buyers?
Looks like they've won or absorbed it.
That's right. It looks like they are winning and absorbing it. So at this point right here, we can see that it looks like absorption is taking place. So we can draw this. Absorption / control. Check. So this move is as follows. Buying, large individual buying, which is in the more micro category, and then we have the large buying. Over time, maybe about a whole month. We come up, lack of interest, come back down as the market cools off, buying again. There's no absorption because the volume's still relatively high. So even if we go up, which may have been a small push on that area, which I didn't really get into that candle, but one of the ways we can tell is that it was not a full push is because all the buying shouldn't be happening so much at that area, but it's okay if it does because some of that initial buying may have happened anywhere between that candle, whether the high side or low side, we don't know. The way we can confirm that is the smaller time frames. So if we went to a daily chart, and this is a weekly chart, if we go to a daily chart and we see a lot of the volumes on the high side, we know it's more selling. We know it's more selling on that bar. If the volume's more to the low side, then we know it's just the back end of all the initial buying that was being done on this price. We can quickly confirm that just by going to a daily chart and looking where the volume is on the high side or the low side. Most likely it's going to be at the low side, indicating lack of profit taking. So that's how we can know it's not profit taking. A third way we can know it's not profit taking is because the last time they had a chance to take profit there, they didn't. Lack of interest. So there's no real big money taking, at least on this exchange that we can see, MEXC. We can see they're buying, they're not taking profit here. Why would they take profit here? Okay, so a lot of things we're gleaming. Now, if this is going to go up, what is next needed for this to happen? There's a few things that would be needed. One of them is going to be if we fall into local weaknesses, this is a local weakness, and what I mean by that is this is about underneath these round structures. So this is actually a negative space for this. Price really shouldn't be here. It's going to have some pressure to the downside. But the supports should kick in. Like I showed you, this is going to be the event line. And so that event line, that's going to be the accumulation between this area and this area. That angle gives you this angle at the bottom. So this should be support. So price can still come here, but it's trapped between a rock and a hard place. So this would be what we call delay territory. Delay. Now, if price is going to go up, it needs to be there, above the big major resistance. Just like ASTER right now needs to be above its area, but it looks like absorption is starting to happen. If this really is going to be absorption, then and finish the move, we still need a move into health. So you need to be along that track between here and here. Okay? If we get it, I would like to take a trade as close as this line as possible. I'm not exactly going to buy today because we're still in a rock and a hard place and I want this crypto to prove itself, but we do need a health, and I would like this where it's at. I don't mind paying there. So now I'm going to draw for you guys those numbers so you guys have them, and then we can take a look at RSI, right? Since we want RSI to be pulling back deep. I don't like buying in a downtrend without a health. I absolutely don't like buying in a downtrend without a health. The number we need on average for next week is 7034. Current price is 7023. So we really need a breakout above there. I don't want to just be above this blue line. No, I don't want to just be on this line because I'm still in a downtrend at this angle. Price could bounce a few more times, and it could bounce all the way until December 2025. Okay, so I don't want to play that long with this game, wasting my time. I want this to go up. Even if the big boys are playing, they play the long game. They've been buying since February, right? Or since, February, March. They can play the long game. For me, I don't want to waste my time, but I definitely don't want to miss out. So if I'm going to buy it anyway, I may want to play here since it looks like we're having absorption. They're controlling the volume. They're controlling the supply. All right, let's move on. Any other questions this crypto? Oh, I better give you guys where we're going to, by the way. I'm sorry. 7019. If we go up from here, we are going to have some problems at... I'll give you the areas where we're going to have some issues. And this needs to be raised to the parabolic side, to the wick side, based on these cores up there. Try to balance it as best I can. We're going to have problems up here. So look for us to resist again at these areas. And where is my top? We'll do target system. See if I have any targets. Okay, first targets are already hit. Those were those ones down here approximately. Hit 1 and 2. So the next target's going to be there. All right, not bad. Ultimately, I think this is going to do a lot. It's going to do good. Okay, so I'm going to be looking to get up to 6014, and currently on the board, so 60s 14, 60s 12. The money right now from current prices is closer to 415%. Closer to the breakout should be closer to maybe 200%. So let's take a look at that. So if we get the breakout and it's sometime in October, I'm looking to closer to get 274% conservatively. So I would be looking there for a big profit, 274%. So what we're looking to get on the board from entry areas. Okay, and I'll put a big star so you guys can have that. You know where I'm looking at. So in this downtrend, I don't want to buy right now. We can still be going into much lower places, and price could be manipulated lower if they want to. If these buyers say, you know what, we're such a bad spot, and we're going to throw money at it. So we don't want to see the high volume on that bar. We didn't really see it on that bar, but there is some on that bar, and I'll show you what we're looking at. Okay. Here is the volume on that upper bar. I told you guys I don't want to see that. What is the volume for this called? Based on this shape. What do we call this? Starts with the A. Anybody remember? What is this? No. What is it called? The answer is, there it is, Toya. Good. Aggregately high. Overall, it's still high. Aggregately high. Okay. Overall, encompassing, aggregately, on its average. Okay. So this we don't want to see because that is dumping. But comparatively to its other moves, it's a drop in the bucket. It's really nothing. So it is something to keep us down here in this delay territory. And that's how we can decipher that. In a market, things aren't always up or down. Sometimes they're mixed, like USDT.D. Sometimes it's just that mixed territory gives you a lot of information, like USDT.D. Right now it's in a delay territory with weekly still being dominant, and it just wastes your time. But the territory lets you know approximately where you're supposed to be in the story. All right, I only need to put one more dot here, and then we'll move on.
You mentioned the RSI, Jason?
Oh, yeah, sorry, guys. Yeah, let me look at the RSI.
got a question for you. Good morning. Or
Good
absorption.
morning, Triple J.
Morning.
Feeling good?
Okay. A little bit tired, but I'm good.
What can I do for you?
I hear the word absorption. What would that be on that point?
Absorption means that they control the supply game. The buyers are winning in this context. But you're hearing that as well, not just from our conversation?
That's it. That's the only thing I hear. Absorption.
That's fantastic. I'm going to put those comments in addition to our final comments. Triple J. I hear the word absorption. Okay. Okay, let me look at the RSI and then I'll put my comments on here. Okay, this RSI being equal to, with this being lower, this is pulling back. This should bring us a down move. We have a nice down move. This volume price only pulling back about 90%. RSI pulling back, however, over 180% should be a bullish move. But if we only move slightly, this is going to be cause for a nice base at this area. So that makes a lot of sense why we would still be having a base here with RSI being approximately here. Okay, that's going to add to that. We have price pulling back at this area, so RSI should reset fast to the upside, and that's not such a good thing at this area from June to July. But June, back from July all the way to now, this down move, RSI is about the same, price is lower. So this tells me the move is not fully done. And I'll tell you the price playing in this delay is not done. I'll tell you why. If the move, let me see if I'll hide my line so you guys can have it. This is going to be my analysis of it on this 2-day chart. RSI has pulled back 100%. Price has pulled back 100 and what is this? 120, 130. So we'll just say 120%. So this should force RSI into upward movement quickly. So RSI is supposed to be resetting, which means that if RSI is resetting, it's not in a position to really be pulling back even slightly. So we would normally have wanted RSI to pull back deeper, but RSI needs to come up and then try again. So this means that this should be like this, because RSI is not done resetting. So this makes a lot of sense why we're in this delay. This makes a lot of sense why we're in the delay territory that we were at right now. So I want this to play a little bit longer here, and that's going to form a big base, and that's going to be really quite nice when we're able to beat it. Let me now put those final comments, and I'll put everything for you guys.
I say something else. The whole market. I hear the Lord saying that the whole market is under absorption, and what I see is when the C is reciting. That would be. Is that the word? Reciting?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it comes a real big swell. That's what I see and hear.
Rescinding, right?
Oh, that's the. I guess I'm using the.
Yeah.
Is it receding like a middle-aged man's hairline?
Like a tsunami.
I was at the beach. I showed you guys I was at the beach with Melody in Peru. Yeah, Peru. And they all yelling, "Get out the water, get out the water." And all the water came back as if a big tsunami was going to happen. Now, the tsunami never came, but we all ran, me and Melody ran to the top of the mountain, because you come down the mountain, then there's a beach. We were waiting for the tsunami, never saw it. But it was a little bit scary while all the alarms and people kept going back on the water, and the lifeguards are like, "No, get out!" Tsunami.
You want to date it?
Yeah. But I'm married, so generally I try not to.
I think I'm a little bit too old for him.
You're on fire today, Jason.
Thank you. Thank you. September 28th. Nope, 29th? Yeah. 2025. What I'm going to write down is my comments. What I feel about this, what I think about this crypto. This crypto has strong signs of professional accumulation and will be added to the large accumulation list because this says large accumulation. However, it even shows that absorption has completed. However, the structure is not ready, in my opinion. I am expecting a breakout above 7 zeros 34 dynamic negative to feel comfortable for an entry. Otherwise, currently the 7 zeros 19 price is a low based on the event line phantom support. Okay, all right, anyone else? RSI is neutral.
Thank you for this. Sorry, just the last question. That vortex of the long is a key or foundational angle, the top white one and the bottom yellow one. You said it could go as long as December 15?
Yeah, right now, based on this current angle, it can go all the way to December 31st, it looks like.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll put that in the comments too.
I want to.
I don't expect it to last that long, but it can.
When I see the water back, it's very. I want to let you know it's very slow. Which my understanding of this, it's very calculated. The Lord is very calculated. He's calculating everything. What would you say that is? Calculative.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
The Lord is very calculative. Oh my God, those are Sunday words for me.
I have something else for you guys that I wanted to share. I just saw this on the chart. I can't believe I missed this. I don't want to wait too long for a crypto like this because have you ever seen cryptos that move like just they almost go straight out and we get a breakout but there's not really a chance to pay for it? Like you get a health but the bar is too long and by that time it's high off the entry. That happens quite a bit in the markets. And it's not fun because at that time, even though we saw the move coming, we're far away from our entry. So what you can do from time to time, although you don't want to do it too much, there are some cryptos you want to just buy when they're at their lowest. Some people, they buy anyway, but we have a very calculated way to do. We can calculate, based on the EV Phantom, this here is exactly where the support's supposed to be. So that's a low. We already know it's a low. We're not just guessing. We know it is a low. It's probably one of the best prices we're going to get if we don't get into weakness. Now it can, but if it does, we're basically exiting at the same price as we get in, and then we'll pay it lower. Most times when we have a weakness at an already calculated spot, that we've done this for years since Shortcut, if price still fails our entries, usually we'll challenge our entry one more time. Almost all the time. Because we don't just chase candles. So what I'm saying is, from time to time, you may want to just pay a low price. If a crypto has heavy buying or heavy buying with complete or almost complete absorption, all they have to do is stop their activities and price will rise. Tom Williams taught us that. Taught me that in his course. I shouldn't say personally, but he taught in his courses. They basically explain how the professionals will buy for years and then they just have a monopoly and then they just stop their activity. And the market will create itself because they hold the supply. Just like real estate, if you buy all the houses on the block and people are putting offers but you don't sell at those prices, then what happens is people start making increased offers if they want that neighborhood. If they want this crypto and the big players already bought in, all they have to do is withhold the supply. Eventually prices will gravitate, and sometimes very quickly. The buying doesn't happen all in that bar, but rather it already happened, according to him and according to many other volume spread analysis teachers. I'm just sharing you how the information works. I wouldn't feel so uncomfortable just buying some right now and buying later 34. If you get a move straight up in the air, it's nice to have had it at the best low if you can. The other thing I'm going to show you guys at is if you paid right now, based on this curvature, we'd want to bring this up to the top. We do have some signs in the past that we're going to see this, but it's all coming together close to that same number I gave you already. So if we get a strong move straight up in the air and a breakout, it's going to be very powerful. And remember, the move from this low up to the target is closer to 477% conservative. Here's 500. And 600%, 616 on the liberal side. And we've seen some of these targets by professional accumulations make as much as 16,000%. But the average is usually around 700% for large accumulation campaigns. So I would be definitely looking for those breakouts here and here at 34, 57, but also paying. I wouldn't feel so bad paying right now. And I want to say that. I don't feel bad getting some based PEPE right now. All right. Any other questions, thoughts, my opinion? Until I have other reason to trade on the liberal side, I would just be taking at 12. Yeah, I'm probably going to look at the liberals, the conservative side right now. 12. Okay, let's move on. Take a screenshot if you want to. I'll make a full screen. Okay. Large accumulation. Added to large accumulation list. Absorption complete. Needs breakout price at low area. I don't always buy at a low in a down move, but I wouldn't mind buying some right now. All right. Let's go to TON, see what we can find. TON. Okay. These two supports overlap. DP parabolic, DP level out, parabolic. Oh, DP level out. Okay, and the parabolic level out. Okay. Although this can be adjusted about right here, this needs to be a little higher for these cores that had appeared in the future. So this would be a little bit higher because now the move is done. We can more accurately adjust that. Okay. That's going to make our level out approximately there. 212, 207. And then this will be, this is not on the board anymore, this angle here, so its DP is not going to be on the board. Okay. Wow, we predicted that one pretty good, didn't we? We have a third challenge area. Here we can make a proper assessment if we should be breaking out or above. Right now we're going to adjust this bottom for this 2-day chart, somewhere about right here. And we're going to look for the volume increasing. If the volume here and here is equal to, we're absolutely supposed to be down here. And that means we're right on schedule. If there's an increase again at the volume higher than these two areas, that means we're coming lower. Otherwise, we're going to be looking for maybe some kind of neutrality, some support, and some breakouts to the high side coming up in there. So let's take a look at A, B, and C. Again, remember, if the volume is rising at each sequential challenge, that means we're supposed to be going down. We don't want that. For the buyers to be winning at $2.70 area and to absorb, they need to absorb and control. So we need that volume to come down. All right, that's not good. I'm gonna I'll hide these lines so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And I'll show you the volume. And let's go to a weekly chart to simplify this. There we go. All right. If we come down to area A and the volume is approximately here, and we challenge here again, and the volume at area number B, you're saying B is not a number, Jason. I was absent the day they taught numbers, so break. If we come down to area B and the volume is increased, what is supposed to happen next if we go up? If we go up and the volume has increased at this support, what's supposed to happen next? Toya said, re-challenge the support. Yes, you're supposed to challenge again. iPad says challenge again. That's right. You're supposed to challenge again. So, should we be here? Yes or no? Should we be here at these prices right now? Is that the next thing we're supposed to be? Bridget says yes. Toya says yes. You guys are right. You're supposed to be here. So we know that's normal. Now, it's nice to know with the statistical edge where you're supposed to be, what's normal, what's not normal. Because if you start, especially for you guys who are drawing trend lines, and that's where we specialize, right? In ChartRoom. That's our art in sword method. The art is trend lines. That's when I got started drawing, mapping out prices. All I was doing was just trend lines. I would get rulers and print out maps and charts and just start mapping, absorbing watching the anomalies. It was a lot of things I wish they taught me when I was 18. And I went to a lot of seminars, couldn't find what I was looking for until I realized a basic principle. What happens at trend lines is just as important as what doesn't happen at trend lines. Okay? Because it starts telling us what's normal, what's not normal. I can see when breakouts are happening. I can see when breakouts are not happening when they're supposed to happen. And so if you get a feel using volume for the same type of principles, what's supposed to be happening, what's not happening, then you know when things are out of line, you know when things are risky, when you have a statistical edge. If you're supposed to be here, you're not looking for the big breakout at that point. So if price comes down and you're saying, we got a health, are we going to be looking for price to bounce and sword cut? Not really. Because we're supposed to be down here. You already know you're supposed to be at trading at $2.71. You're not really concerned with this breakout. You're not like, oh my gosh, I gotta buy, oh my gosh, I'm missing out on price. You're actually calm. You're quite calm. That's why when XRP the other day had an up move, I was like, no, we're supposed to be down because the volume's increasing, the challenge area. This isn't a breakout. And what did XRP do? Came right back down, and what's been doing since? It's playing in that same area. We're looking for lower prices because we can see these principles at work. Got it? So when you have these areas and you're in health coming into the market, but the volume is the wrong directions, you know that you're not really ready for a breakout. Most likely you're ready for one more challenge. And you need to have signs for that. At the very least, if price does round, you want to have low volume, and don't be surprised if you get some large wicks to those areas. But at a very minimum, you need to understand absorption takes place. When absorption takes place, it's the best scenario for a proper reversal. Okay? When absorption takes place, it's the best scenario for a proper reversal. So we're supposed to be here at the moment. All right, now next. If we're here, what do we need to see for the next health? And the next health will be based on these two small energy centers. It's going to be there. What's the next thing needed for this to go up at this area? What do we need to see so we can really properly go up at the next health? For a ton.
The volume has to go up now?
If the volume goes up at this area, just say today, the volume goes up to there. What is the next move if that's the volume? Can anybody help her out? Bridget said we need to see no demand. Okay. But if we don't see no demand and we see the volume increase again from at area C, what happens to price next? Prices will go higher. Will price go higher if the volume is higher at this level right now? Who thinks yes? Who thinks no? Should price go higher if the volume? Yes. Okay. Price will retest. That's right. In fact, if the volume is higher than B, then we're actually going to go lower, because that means that the buyers have not won the game. Buyers have not won because the volume is increasing. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Increase, equal to, or aggregately high. So we don't want to increase because we want the buyers to win. If you want the price to go higher, the buyers got to win. If the buyers are losing, they're fighting the battle and they're getting swamped by the sellers, like in a battle, like a physical battle. Swords, imagine that. But they're not able to. There are too many reinforcements. There's not enough to help. Then they'll leave the buying campaign alone and let prices naturally go to where they go next. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. So right now, that's the scenario if volume is high. But we already have our first signs of what's happening next. What is happening next is that the volume is doing what at this challenge? Because we've already challenged yesterday or last week. See, right there. So what is the next move based on today? Yes, last week's volume, because we can use that Sunday at 8 p.m. right there. What is all we have to do is read the relationship between 1 and 2. So let's read the relationship. What's the volume like from area C to B? What's the relationship? Give me a number. You can either do one or two things. But it just says it's decreasing. That's right. It's decreasing. What's the relationship between A and C? Here's the volume. Okay. It's also decreasing. Is it overall high? Is it aggregately high? Not really. It's just there. So it's not even really pressing up against the average. So this is a good sign that something is taking place, and the thing that is taking place is absorption. So buyers have a chance again. Somebody really came in and was dumping a lot, and they're now bringing it down to say, hey, are you going to pay that again? Are you offering low prices? We had a great conversation about the whole Pokemon card phenomenon and the money that these cards are making. It's just in the thousands. It's crazy. It's crazy. And people were showing videos of 1998 when Toys R Us and all these stores were just throwing them in the bargain bin. Now those cards are hundreds of thousands of dollars just for those packs. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's crazy. Some of them hundreds of thousands, some of them thousands. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand for a little pack. And they were just $1 or $2. If they came back down to $1, $2, people are going to be like, oh, I want it. Because it's cheap and they already tell you there's value there. Somebody was selling and they're like, oh, are you selling again? Oh, you're not selling? Okay. I'm gonna say it again. Oh my gosh, you were selling. Are you selling again? Oh, you're not? Okay. You got it? So this is signs that there may be some absorption taking place. Now, why do I say may be some absorption control? Does anybody know why I said may? Absorption and control. Why do we say? There's two reasons why I said may. Anybody can figure out why I would say may. There's two glaring problems with this. It's looking good, but there's two problems with it. What do we need? Come on, somebody help me out. Week's only begun. Last week closed, so it wouldn't be that. Although that would be nice volume. There's two other things we really need, two magical ingredients that we really need for this to really go up. What do we need? And then we'll move on. Okay? Help me out here. Why don't I just buy right now? Something like this. No demand? Yeah, you could have no demand. Maybe give it another week or two and you get no demand. But why would I still want to be cautious a crypto like this right now? Why would we still not really want to buy? Or at least, why might we not want to? Okay. Needs to bounce off the support. Yeah, we want to see some kind of bounce. That would be great. That'd be one thing we want to see. So we want to see price do something like this. So that'd be good. We'd want to have some signs that this support really is still going to hold. Okay, signs of support. So let's write that down. Wants. Signs of support. Holding. Okay, now we know where the support is. It's here. We just need to say signs that we hold. So we can put a health here if we wanted to. It is a type of health. What else do we need for a crypto like this? Besides just support. Needs to be in health. Yeah, right here. We need to actually be in health for us to really tell us. So we actually want to be here. Right? Okay? We want to be above whatever the price is that's closer to 320. So we want to be around $3.20. We could pay $2.71, but we don't even know if we're going to bounce on this as a support right now. So this is a type of health, but the trend is still down. So I want to show evidence that the trend is broken. Just like the last one, I like it, but it's a low, and there's no sign of health. It's just at a low. I don't want to just pay because it's a low. You don't want to have too many of those in your portfolio. You don't want to just have a lot of lows, because what if you're wrong and it's not the bottom, or the market's still going to be bearish? You want to have evidence that this can fight on its own. Okay? All right. Now, the next thing we want to see, so again, we want to see number 2 in health. We want to see it in health. 320. The other thing is you want a shorter, and I'll give it to you because I don't know if you guys are going to get this last one, but we want to have a smaller health to have occurred. So you can actually go to a daily chart and you want to draw that angle and you need to be at least there. So none of those have happened. We haven't shown sign. We show signs that we're stopping at the support, but we want it round on this area. We want that area to hold. We want it held, and we really, ideally, should be here. Anyone who's scalping buys here, but be aware of the danger there. Okay. All right. Anyone else? Questions, comments, thoughts? Oh, and there's one big one. That was going to be the 4th one. The real big one I wanted. There's the whole reason I wanted to tell you guys. What is that other reason? Anyone have any more bright ideas before I go? Needs smaller health. 280. Okay. What was the biggest warning sign on why I may not want to buy this right now? May not be fully absorbed. Yeah, it may not be fully absorbed. You can spend a few days, but just say we spend a few days here and it is absorbed. What's another glaringly obvious reason why we got to be careful with a crypto like this? It's on the board, and I'll zoom out so you guys... Actually, I don't need to zoom out. Okay, 10 seconds, and then I'll give you the answer. Okay, everything I need to know is on this screen. I don't blame you guys. I won't. You don't have to facepalm yourself if you don't get this answer. But it is important you guys hear. All right, 5 more seconds. Okay, the answer is why we want to be careful with the crypto like that is because this crypto has not shown signs that it was being accumulated in the first place. All we have is the smaller micro volume at these areas to let us know there was some buying happening, but it's not a large campaign. The reason I say everything is neat is because the volume ends here, so that means that's the farthest data you got. You only have this down move. Does that make sense? Where did the real big players come in? Where did the real big players come in? There may be some players. Does it make sense? At least on Binance, I can't see it. I need to find it on another exchange, maybe. But if you don't see the big players coming in the first place, you're not really looking for this to do a whole lot until you have a reason to do. Okay, I'll leave you guys with that, and I'm gonna put this here. All that would mean, therefore, is we're probably looking at a bounce. Okay, we're not looking for this to go to the moon. We really want, just because we see absorption doesn't mean we see a lot of heavy buying. So that's how we wanna approach that. Okay. September 28th, 29th, 2025. No large buying observed. However, signs of absorption and smaller local buying on the date of June 30th, 2025. On June 30th. Indicate that that price may have a bounce. Last week we see a decrease in volume compared to areas A. So a bounce may be upcoming. Look for resistance at 344. Okay, so we may get that bounce back up to those areas. All right. Not really my cup of tea. Look for there to be your resistance, there to be your health, smaller local resistance, health. Okay. All right. Last few cryptos. So ton, possible bounce. If you find, by the way, if I'm doing a crypto and you find the exchanges have an exchange that has massively different volume, let me know. Some of these large companies that trade $1 million portfolios, they're responsible for some of the buying that happens in the markets. They'll use only some exchanges and not others. So if a certain company has a buying campaign that is happening, look for that to show up on one exchange or another. So if you observe an exchange, like I think Michelle, we found this weekend, we found a large selling campaign. We saw a large buying and a distribution campaign for the crypto. It's up there, Squid, right? Just the other day, we saw a huge campaign for the buyers and the sellers exactly where they were supposed to be. But on a different exchange, we saw another buying campaign starting up, and it was at a low. Now, the volume comparatively may not be enough to change the game from those areas, but it's enough to understand where we should be taking action, where we shouldn't be taking action. Be very aware if you see an exchange having, on one exchange the volume's really great, but on another you don't see it. Pay attention and let me know. If you find it, let me know. Please, I would love to make some of those observations, okay? I would love to make some of those fantastic observations. All right. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, see? I wanted to show you real quick. Again, like Squid, a fantastic example, large accumulation campaign taking place on this exchange MEXC. We can see the large buying coming in, and then we can see the shakeouts, and then we saw the distribution phase taking place. So a lot of heavy selling. All the selling began around about 19, and then we did a whole class session on why it is the way it is. They made over 670% from the buying campaign starting, but we can see all the selling that is taking place here at those areas at the top. But we did look at a different exchange right after that area, and on that exchange we saw that exchange had a high volume on this area. So this would be a buying. So those buyers that were in this area are now going to be competing against the sellers that are on this exchange. So we can see where they're selling at, where they're going to be taking profit at, and as we opened up today, price of Squid has come down quite a bit. It's about right here as we observed earlier today as our opening crypto. Yep, right here. Okay, so already priced below its support and its target. So we're still looking for that one to come down. Triple J.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
By the market being under absorption and me seeing, I want your insight, or anybody that are in the prophetic that they might understand this. By the reciting of the water and the absorption, could that mean that we're going to lower prices and then I see everything's being absorbed? Could that mean that everything's going lower and then the swell comes really big and we go up?
I have thoughts. Does anybody want to share theirs?
Portion for you in the side of you doing the charts.
I have thoughts regarding on the side of charts. You would, if that was the case, and we're gonna be rescinding just like the tsunami. Before the big wave comes in, you would be looking for markets to have pulled back, and you're going to be looking for the signs of absorption, which we have here. We can observe. So I would be looking for markets to come back to their support, to their areas, but not necessarily like signs of a crash, but rather pulling back to the deeper parts of our support, and then look for the big move to happen. iPad asks Triple J, is that for the crypto market or a specific token?
I thought it was for that specific token that Jason was doing at that time, because he just gave me that specific word absorption. So I do believe that it has to do with that token, but then he gave me a broader word. I wrote it down. Give me 1 second. The whole market is under absorption. I saw water reciting like a big tsunami. Then Abba said it is all calculated. He used the word I am calculative. And it is coming slowly.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not the first time that he tells me he's very calculative. And you could see that in the Old Testament.
All right, this crypto, I'm very excited about this crypto. I think this crypto is going to do very well. let's pay attention to this next part. I'm going to be looking for higher prices for this crypto. I'm going to be looking for this crypto to move closer to around 1,000%, maybe 700%. Okay. I'm looking for this crypto to do really well. So I want you to pay attention to what we found about this coin. I wrote back in November that there was long-term bullishness that was going to come down, but in December we needed another breakout, and we got some of those moves all the way here. We got some moves upward higher. But right now, what I'm expecting is this foundational area to really kick in. So the supports are around the lower numbers of 0.26, which means we really need to be coming back here. And I'll tell you a few reasons on why that is in just a few moments, and why I really think. Number one, we have target system. Okay, that's going to give us our next support target, which is here. Now, approximately, we could say we hit it once or twice, sure, but we also now have a leveled out parabolic based on the foundational area. So that's this top, even that wick gives me that shape, right? That shape is more confirmed with this large shape here. So as we come down, we can see this large parabolic, and price pulling back to this area is nice signs of where we're supposed to bounce. So we're supposed to be looking for here as the landing zone after pullback. Now, ideally, at this round area, we want RSI to be lower to show us that we have a lot of momentum to the upside. Let's look at that right now, and then I'm going to show you guys the real good stuff in the volume. So we want RSI to be lower this bout around. At the moment, based on this, let's see, let me give you a calculated number. Right now, RSI is pulling back about from its all-time high here. We're about 50%, and price has pulled back only about 40%. So it's not super bullish yet. Needs time to cook according to RSI, which is again why we still need the price to really move down about there. That's going to be our sweet spot. Current price is 0.04 cents. I'm looking for it to lose about half its value to go down to 0.02 and to 0.026, 0.025. I'm looking for this to come down. So not exactly half, but maybe about 40-50%. From current prices. Let me just show you that real quick. So yeah, about 34%, 35, 37% from current. So I don't mind coming down a bit. It needs to come down. Now, let me show you what I mean when I'm talking about this crypto. I think the move has smaller bouts of individual buying that came in. Large volume bars all in this area. The volume from here approximately here, right? Oh, so not that one. This needs to be another marker. The volume from this area, we'll call this, not that one. The volume from this area A to this area around here is going to be about, we're going to call that B, is very equal. Okay, it's high, very equal, which means somebody thought, hey, these are pretty good prices. We move to the right and up. We move to the up and to the right. In both of those senses, there's going to be some money coming in, and somebody's saying, hey, let's pay these prices. Because the volume, though, from this area A to this area B was equal, what is supposed to happen next? After this area, if the relationship is still aggregately high but equal, what is supposed to happen? Retest. So we're supposed to retest where? The support, or approximately the support, right? So this move down is exactly justified. So we're supposed to have that down move, and then again we can continue drawing our health. So there's our real breakout number. But we're supposed to be here. So we got there, and then what happened here at this area? What was the volume telling us price is supposed to do next? What is the volume telling us here as we challenge that low? Somebody say it out loud. Unmute your microphone, please, if you can. We'll call this area C. What is supposed to happen at area number C? Based on the smaller buying that's coming in. Anybody? You got this. I believe in you. What's supposed to happen next if there's buying in the background? And we retest, and the volume has decreased. So you guys can see the volume has decreased, and now this is going to be a no demand area. Prices should move up. Yes, prices should move up we would be looking at this area and prices should move up because there's no one left to play with. So absorption has taken place. Now we want to see consistent larger buying, but we'll take what we can get. Ideally, this should have a larger, more increased volume support, but this is somebody saying, hey, I want the lowest prices I can get, and they pay those lowest prices. Absorption / control has taken place at those prices. Come. So when we move into health, now we got to pay attention to what's really happening. What's really happening is somebody started playing the game. Now we're going to be looking for the next signs of this to take place. So let's move on. So our next healths, we already calculated, are somewhere above this track, right? We've been looking at it for several months, right? Since back here, January, December, okay? And here's our landing zone. So now we need to figure out what is happening in the volume and where should we be. Is there any clues right now of what's supposed to be taking place and what is happening at the moment based on the volume in this down move? Any clues, my friends? So we know our support is here. Tell me what's happening and what is supposed to happen. What areas are important? Okay, that's right. That's an area that's important. And this area is important. Okay? If you look carefully, they're really the same area. So we're going to give this a letter. Let's give this a letter A and give this a letter B. What is happening in the relationship between A and B? Tell me about the relationship and what it means for price. John? Yeah. Anyone? No? Okay. All right. Tell me the relationship and what does it mean for price? How can we navigate this? Is then some accumulation in next support. Okay. Anyone else? We already navigated the big stuff. We're looking for this to be a support, but of the support, A and B. All right. The answer is the relationship is decreasing, which means there are signs of absorption taking place. Although we're not at a low demand or no demand yet, where do we need to confirm that? We need to be here if we're going to really confirm it. So just a few more weeks or a few more days or even this week itself, we should know with a very high degree of certainty. If we come down here and the volume is really low, Sunday, what was this? How many? 13 days. So we got, this is a 2-week chart. But approximately in the next week or 2 weeks, we're going to be looking to challenge here on very low volume. If we do, we need only one more ingredient, and that's another breakout. If you get it, look for this to launch. Otherwise, over the next month of October and maybe November, we're going to be looking to phase through or breakout. I don't look to phase unless it's December, and that means if price is just wanting to take a sweet time, we're going to hit it in about December. Here about December. Okay. If not, and we break out soon, then we're going to be looking for this to go up in a big way. Okay, so that's how. So already right now it's trending good. We need to keep our eye on this crypto. How can we keep our eye on it? We can draw those alerts. We can draw a resistance like an alert. So this is the one I already have. I'm just going to turn that into an alert line by setting my alarm clock, and you guys can do the same. Draw your line, 2-week chart, and then set your alarm. Your alarm. What's an alarm? I don't know. It's like a worm alarm. Look for breakout closes on TELCOIN. Okay. The other support we want to look for is at here. So we want to set an alert somewhere. So I'm going to draw a trend line about where the conservative number is, and it's probably going to be hit this week. I'm going to set an alarm right about the top side of this old low, and that's why I want to be notified. So if I'm going to buy it anyway, I want to pay a low price. I don't want to buy it right now. I think we're supposed to test again, but we don't have to test. But I think we're going to, since we're already rejecting off this top. Okay, I'm going to set alarm there. TELCOIN at low prices. look to get some. Okay, come and get some. Okay, I'm going to be looking for this to do and fulfill more of what's happening. Okay, so that's what I need. After that, I need one more breakout. I'm going to show it to you. It's going to be there. So that means that I'm going to put a marker above there, and I'll give you those prices. Since we cleared this old vortex, we don't really need to worry about that vortex anymore. The price is 009. So again, I'm looking to get to a high number eventually, and right now if we can get paid those prices at 0026 at the resistance, we're looking about 182% up until the resistance of 9. Then we're going to need another breakout, and then we'll go from there. All right, right now a nice flat has formed, which means we are going to pay attention to this. I got one more support for you. Since this flat formed, we can DP it at the highest energy centers in that area. It's going to be right here in April 2024, which means overall we're looking for supports to be built in this area. But since it's messy, we're probably going to be expecting some messiness. Ultimately, if we come back down, that price of 004 is going to be our support. I'm going to be paying attention to all of that going forward. All right. And that's all of my stuff for this crypto. Okay, these are old right there, and then I have my top numbers. Nothing really new. I'll give you a screenshot. Here you guys can have the screenshot. And nothing really new. All right, let's move on. So you guys know learning how to read these with a higher statistical edge. Looking for lows, not too far away at 0.0025. Current prices 0.0039, and that's 256, by the way. ATH crypto. 2 more cryptos to go for today. I'm going to look at this on MEXC. Okay, it looks like we've done this crypto before. Let's see, what did I give you guys last time? I gave you guys support here, the EV Phantom. It looks like price has been bouncing on that EV Phantom. We had a target here at the bottom. This will come out. It's not hit yet. This target has been hit. So we're going to fade that away. And it looks like price is not really responding to it at the moment anymore. So we're probably going to fade that away even more. Okay, what I'm looking at next. Let's see what we're going to look at next. This DP has been hit. Okay, we already hit that. So we can fade that way now. Away. I don't need that at the moment. That's important. This is important. And the border's important. Yeah, these borders are important. Okay, I'm going to be looking for us to challenge to the top side. I would love a buying campaign to have happened. I don't have it, but I got a huge pushing bar. The down moves on lack of interest, so the campaign has launched. We'd love to see these prices on high volumes after that move. And we're getting it. But the fact that there is high volume in relationship to its other as increase, we should be playing down here for a few more days. So you're going to have a chance for an entry most likely. We may even come and push back to this support if things are too messy. Let me look at the volume from here to here on the top side. Yeah, you're probably going to come down. Yeah, if there's a weakness, it's hard to draw this as a bottom here or angle that. So I don't have a real area of weakness. I'm going to be paying attention to there. Yep. All right, so 2 reasons why I think we're going to be coming down a little bit further to this price that I gave you guys last time. It's the same price. I'll update it just a hair. I'll give you the 2 reasons right now. Number 1, in the volume, we can see that of the tops, we have decrease at the areas. Now the first one, you could draw it like this: A, B, C. But at B, the volume was still relatively high and equal. So that means we're supposed to be challenging again. Supposed to, and we did at area C. But at the challenge of area C, the volume is now decreased. So normally we would look for a more proper weakness, but it's hard to draw this as a bottom just yet, but it might be something like that. If we did, we would be looking now for this to be in a type of reversal because absorption is happening by the sellers. So basically, in short, sellers are winning this small game. It's a very small game. So we're looking for a pullback. Okay, that's one side. So we are looking for that. The next thing is at the bottoms here, we see an increase in this area at the downside. So this means that if there's buyers coming in, the buyers are losing. So we see again two things. Number one, sellers winning, buyers losing. So I'm going to be looking for this to either continue playing here or challenge here. And this is more telling me since the sellers are winning and the buyers are losing. And I'm going to put small sellers and small buyers so you guys don't think this is the whole market. Small sellers winning, small buyers losing. So we can see one is weak and one is strong, and the buyers are weak. So this support, we're going to be looking for the support to break most likely. All right, so that's how I'm going to view that. I'm going to be looking more towards that number, the same number I gave you guys a few weeks back or however long ago I did this chart. Okay. All right. Any other questions for me on my take opinion on where we're getting to on this crypto? ATH. After that, I'll be stressing the borders. So I'm going to be using those as my target. Right now, I'd probably use conservative unless we have another reason or you have another reason why you want to push it to the higher side. So I'm going to be looking for a move like that, most likely. Otherwise, if we continue to play here and then there is another absorption, we'll go up. But right now, that's got my star right here. That's got my star. Okay. So I'm going to be waiting for that. That's how I feel. All right, and again, the reason I stress the borders, we got flat based on these two areas here, really three, and then we have mid phantom, which is about right here, phantom. Okay, this is going to be our phantom. So we got responses halfway, which is going to stress the border. So that's why we really need to focus on that number and that number at the bottom. All right. Okay. And by the way, this old flat may come back into place. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down so it's a little bit more balanced. Yeah. So I'm going to bring this one back into play so you guys can see it. Respect on top and bottom, stresses the borders. So this is going to be our mid phantom MP. Let me write down my comments for this crypto. Expecting this crypto to fall towards 0.045. Did I miss any questions about this crypto? ATH?
Should I hold or sell and buy back later?
Did you pay a higher price or did you pay a lower price? Are you a strong holder or a weak holder right now?
I mind it.
You mind it? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'd be holding on to it. If it's no skin off your back, I'd hold until you hit your target or you hit your high number.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be. If they pushed it, if there's a big push on here and we're supposed to be in these areas here, then there's a reason they're pushing it. And there's a push. That means they're expecting higher prices. So you should too. Unless you have a really strong selling campaign happening here, and I don't think we're having a strong selling campaign. I think just the smaller buyers are losing. So I really wouldn't be trading it too much to risk just for that lower number. But you can release some of your holdings if you want to, and then buy it back. But make sure you set an alarm for yourself. In fact, I'll set an alarm for myself too around those numbers so I can be notified.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wouldn't sell everything, just a bit. Just like XRP, I got about, I'm expecting XRP to lower, so I reduced my position about 50% in my portfolio just to get that lower number, but you don't want to be out for too long. Price of ATH has pulled back to better supports. Look for entries. Okay. So that's why I put my alert right about there. And that number for you is 044 on the high side. So you're a little early. Or 042 if you want to be really precise. But okay. All right. Anyway, a reminder, the move from those supports is somewhere around 87% conservatively. Liberally, more of 100%. Looking for this to still do well.
Okay. There's a lot of news on this.
Is there?
Insider news on this coin. Yeah. I don't quite understand it, but it says banked by BTIG, DNA Fund is partnering with the 80th Foundation on Project Athens. This is a PEPE transaction to create the world's first strategic compute reserve and the first publicly traded treasury vehicle for ATH. The digital asset treasury will be unique in the market. It combines a productive asset plus a utility token, allowing conversion from ATH directly into NVIDIA GPUs. So I suppose that's good news.
Maybe.
This is the macro, so I'm not sure.
I wish I was a little bit more versed in the fundamental aspects of the fundamental aspects of technology. I really, myself, I just don't pay as much attention to the news. Most of the things I need to know are built into the sentiment of how people feel about it. If people are bullish in how they feel about it, we're going to be looking for it to be reflected somewhere in the chart, in the buying or the selling. But the news does have a function. So we'll take a look. Okay, I'm going to get to the next crypto. Did we have any other questions about that last one?
It's on the Hannah register.
That's good. My coffee went cold, and I have a cup warmer, but it's out of power. Dang it. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go one more crypto, and I'll teach you guys. This next crypto is bearish. I'm going to show you why it's bearish. I'm going to show you what's wrong with this crypto. And since it's our last crypto of today, I'll get you guys involved. Let's make some observations besides the parabolic. Okay, we know there may be a parabolic here. The foundational area shows that we should be bending approximately here. Maybe this is on the wick side. Maybe we can smooth that out on a higher time frame. Yep, exactly. That's right. I knew it. Okay, so we know that we're going to level out somewhere right here, and that means that we need to do the same with the parabolic. But apart from this parabolic and the support, why is this crypto bearish? Let's make some observations on why this might be bearish just using what we have on the board. This is a monthly chart. Why might this project be dangerous? Let's list them out. What, Paul? Can you say it again?
The volume is increasing on the highs.
The volume is increasing on the highs. Okay, did you hear what he said? Why is that important? And that's exactly right. That's one of the biggest ones. At the highs, the volume's increasing. Why is it important to observe if volume's increasing at the high? What does that mean? I can say, so what? So what the volume's increasing at the high? What does that mean? But it's really important. He caught it. But so why? What is the importance? Profit taking. That's right, Toya. If you see the volume at a high and the volume's high and the bar's up, especially if the move is into weakness, which this one is, especially if the move is into weakness, which this is, you know that it's profit taking. And why is it profit taking? Because professionals buy on down bars, down moves, and down trends, and they sell on what? Professionals take their profits and sell on what? Say it. Come on. You guys got this. I believe in you. Nobody? Uptrends. Uptrends is one. Professionals sell on uptrends. What else? There's three of them. So you guys get it. Up moves. And what else?
Up bars.
Up bars. Now you say up moves are up bars. On a high time frame, like a monthly time frame, it can be of many days of an uptrend. Just one single bar. So they're all connected. But an uptrend is overall, we're trending up. Up moves is an overall up move, like this. Okay? And up bars are those individual bars like this. Or this. Or this. Signs that the candle is closing near the middle is also very critical and important. Here's the candle closing, but look at the close. It's an up bar that went this high, and at the end of the day came all the way back down, and its close was right here. That's important. Here's another long up bar, what we just stopped. The next candle is a doji with a very long wick on the top side. So it means we went all the way here. Somebody bought it at the top. Somebody was chasing that candle, and it came all the way back down. They didn't wait for the candles to close or build. Now, that would have been a few months, but it's important. It can happen. Okay? It was the resistance area. Again, how do we know that? Based on our foundational area. 1, 2, 3. We should have known that's a resistance. That's a known resistance. If you know that's a resistance, you know that's the best place to take profit. So what was happening there? Profit takers. So it was being sold at the best price that they can get. They knew that was the best price, and so did you. Okay? You would have known, oh, what is happening? They're taking profits. I should too. And you have 3 months to demand and ship. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't sneak up on you. I told people years ago, the market doesn't happen actually as fast as people think. Most of the stuff that's happening is actually in slow motion. It only happens fast if you want it to happen fast and you're scalping. But you got to be quick. You got to be real good. It's better just to do like Warren Buffett. He takes 1, 2 trades a year, and he trades over the years. It's not get rich quick. It's build slow. But if you know what you're looking for over time, you're going to have a statistical edge more often than not because you know what you're looking at. All right, there's something good about this crypto, and I'll show you what it is, but also some dangers. Okay, so number 1, major profit takings are taking place at these areas. The moves are up moves, up bars, in a smaller uptrend into weakness. Here's your sign of weakness. There's your sign of weakness. So we can see and read these as selling. Okay, so we're going to read this as selling. Now there's something good about this, but if we were to draw the structure of these support, these two areas here, our current zone is what? Bullish or bearish? Our current zone right now, bullish or bearish? Right now, where we're at, we're here. Is this bullish area or bearish area? Health or weakness? Just based on it. Bear. That's right. It's bearish based on where we're at and the fact that we're rejecting where we're supposed to reject. Okay, so that's something that's going to make it dangerous. If we were to go to a smaller time frame, we can confirm it by drawing a larger up move that looks like this. Let's just do that real quick so you guys can see. That means that on a monthly time frame, if we have something like this and you get another move into weakness with more certainty, you're going down. Before we do that, these are the 3 reasons why we want to know that we got to be careful with this crypto, because there's big profit taking that's happening. Now, with that said, where's the buying coming in on this crypto? If any, where's the buying? Where's the professionals entering? At least on Binance Exchange. There's an area. Circle it, please, on my chart. Please circle the area. Nobody? You don't know where the buying's coming in? 21 people in our live session. Nobody knows where the buying's coming in? Yep, that might be
Very beginning.
It might be, it's not really here, but it may be there. Maybe some there, but here's where it is at. It's right there at the beginning. Okay, look carefully. It's very small. You got candles that are closing near the high. Down bars closing near the high. Remember, professionals have to buy in down bars, down moves, and down trends on aggregately high volume. So this is your symbol. So there's our aggregately high move, and this may be some buying. Is it how is it compared to the profit takers right now, overall in balance? What's the relationship between these guys and these three together? Is it proportionate or disproportionate? In other words, do they balance each other out? Do they cancel each other out? Who's overwhelmingly winning? That's right. More sellers than buyers. Negative. More sellers than buyers. That's right. So in this case, the buying in this area on its own isn't enough to win this battle alone. There's other reasons on why they could win, but that's one we need to be aware of, okay? Now, the next thing we need to be aware of is this up move was ready because they had a strong absorption that took place at the two lows. They're going to be here, 1, 2, and 3. So this one's about equal to, and this one is the real low number. So we are decreasing. So in this area, that means absorption took place. So they're ready for their up move, if you get an up move, and that would have been something like that. So somewhere in these days is when the real health started, and we're ready to find this area as a support and profit to start where the profit taking is going to be. Okay, now we got all that out of the way. I want to show you one more thing that's happening. We got a large volume bar right there. You guys pointed that out. That was quite nice. This tells me out of the woodworks, either they were launching a direct push at that moment to try to put a big orders in to drive that. They were like, okay, yeah, it's ready. We won the game. That could be that, and that's probably what it is. It also could be a sign that we may have to come back down to this areas at some time in the future, which is probably why we got very close in the future. Okay? Now we want to pay attention. Here we have no demand, and here we have just a small increase. So we have very low lack of interest on this down move, but increase, but still not enough to beat the buyers. All right, now with all of that said, we just kind of read the whole story. There's one really good thing about this crypto, even if it takes some time. Can somebody tell me the very good thing about this crypto? Even if it doesn't have a large buying campaign, there's some reason why this may go into the future higher. Or at least hit 11, or was this, what about 11, $12? At least hit $12 again. Even if this is in a negative spot, there's reasons why we're probably going to be going up to 12, if not higher, in the future. Why? There was one dead giveaway, even if it's negative. What was the reason? Okay, so I showed you guys the crypto on its own is bearish, but there's one big glaring reason on why there's still hope for this crypto. What is it? Okay, yeah, we can maybe draw the up move if this is going to be here, which we only got one candle worth. But there's another reason why we're probably going to go up, although maybe not now. And the big sellers pumping, dumping, but the crypto is refusing to go down. That's one. That's part. And there's another reason. It's in the volume. It's in the volume.
Is there a reason why we're looking at it on the monthly chart? Shouldn't we? Couldn't we tell more if we looked on the weekly chart?
No, not yet. If we can't be blind to the larger story that's happening before our eyes. If we get that in alignment, everything else is needed. Because the monthly tells the bigger story, what's really happening. I don't want to be in a small 15-minute trade and the daily chart is super negative. And I don't want to be in a daily trade or weekly trade and the monthly is super negative. We need to make sure we read it in context. Why are we looking to challenge $12 again? Or even possibly go higher? It's in the volume. It's not those that you guys drew. Try again.
Is this kind of because there's no interest down there? It's kind of like accumulation.
It could be.
Like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, that's
like
part.
All this area right there.
That's part of it. If you have a selling campaign, if you have dumping, but the down move is refusing to dump, and really they're not getting behind the down move is not natural. It's not supposed to be right now. They're not ready for a down move. So that is part of it. That is part of it. There's another bigger reason. It's in the volume. Huge reason. It's the same thing we tell you. If I flip it upside down, all of you guys will know. Okay, I'll do that right now so you guys can catch it. If this was the scenario, what's supposed to happen next? Higher or lower prices? And why? There it is, Toya. You got it. She's got it. Who else got it? Retest. That's right. But more than a retest. Okay. I'll flip it upside down one more time so maybe that's going to jog your memory. Higher or lower prices here. Okay. Now I'll flip it back normal and we're going to go over it. The answer. Okay, come on. It's really important. Test. If the sellers are playing here and here, are the sellers winning? Are the sellers winning in this scenario? Seller A, B, C. Are they winning? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes, they keep pushing the price down, so.
Well, is it really going down?
Is it? He just got through telling us it was bearish. Come on.
I give you the full story. I'm giving you guys the full story. You got to read it yourself, right? In context.
Hey, look, if you do DP projection, that would be sitting on top of a mid-phantom.
Sure. It could be. We don't need DP just yet, but yes, you could DP that and you could see that support. But you don't need DP for this part yet. Before we draw a map, for true absorption to take place, I'm going to give you all the answers. Here it is. For the sellers to win, the sellers have to control this area, right? Okay, that's our VZB. That's where they're taking action, somewhere about right there. That's our volume zone block. For someone to absorb a control, what is the scenario needed for absorption? Which is needed for control? There's two for absorption and control. They are what? Give me the symbols. For absorption and control to take place, you need two types of volume. Really three, but I usually group 1 and 2 and 3 are the same. Come on, you guys know this. I teach it all the time, every week. Decreasing volume, that's right. Number 1, you need a decrease in volume. Number 2, what is it? What is number 2? Decrease, aggregately low or no demand. Okay, we need no demand / aggregately low volume. Okay, that's what you need for a winning scenario for absorption. Whether you're a seller, absorption, or trying to control, or a buyer, you need this. Okay, everybody got it? For a losing condition, so that's our winning condition in winning. For our losing condition, it looks like this. Pay attention if you guys don't got it. I'm going to keep teaching it over and over. You guys got it until you get it. For a losing condition, 1, 2, 3, we see an increase in volume equal to volume or aggregately high. That means whoever's playing is either winning or losing, and that's the legend. Get this, and you're gonna get a lot of it. It's gonna make sense. Okay, that's the scenario. So let's talk it about. Of the sellers, the relationship between A, B, and C is what? So are the sellers, you see that? Does it make sense now? The volume is increasing between these relationships. Do you see the relationship? So if the sellers come out, are the sellers really winning this area? Because every time they're fighting, more come out. Oh no, there's more and more reinforcements. Eventually, they're going to hold back their selling campaign because it's very expensive to try to swamp prices if they know that you're offering $100,000 for a home, and next week they make an offer even higher for $100,000, and you have twice as many people putting offers in. Then you come back the third month, and even twice as many than there. Now you have 4 times as much as you did the first month. Eventually, you're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to stop selling this home at $100,000. I'm going to offer this home for $200,000 because I'm sure somebody's willing to pay for it. You can tell because of who's coming out of the woodwork, the supply. That's the supply. Volume is just an activity of what's happening with the supply. That's all it is. They are not absorbing. See? The volume's increasing. It's not just equal to, and it's not aggregately high. It is increasing, straight up increasing at the challenge areas. So they're not fully winning. So now let's go over everything and put it all together. I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to say sellers coming out, but sellers not winning. Sellers are not, capital, not controlling or absorbing. Slash absorbing. Just for context. Supply. And the real word we would use is controlling. Okay, they're not able to swamp down the supply there. Too many people are coming out of the woodwork and willing to pay that price. When that happens, you look for another test. So even though the sellers are coming out and it's dangerous, and that's the reasons why we would not want to buy this, we can also see that the sellers are doing a poor job of controlling at these. So the gravity is going to be back here. The lack of buying campaign offsets the sellers. So what this tells me is that most likely we're going to find support and find a time when it is time to go up. We're not looking for this to crash. We're seeing lots of profit takers, but we're not looking for it to crash. We're not looking for that scenario. Okay, I'm not looking for lower price. We need, therefore, a reason to find a support, and then we're going to challenge again because the sellers are not winning. So therefore, we're going to put our star here, and we got to be careful with this one because this is a high time frame. So we're going to be looking for this to short term possibly continue in that weakness. But over the years, we're going to be looking to come back up. Mark my words. If you see this scenario and the sellers keep losing the battle, eventually they're going to know and they're going to become wise, and it's always in the volume. Okay, it's in the volume. All right, so the supply has not been absorbed. So now that we have all the big picture coming together, sellers powerful. Now we can start putting the little pieces together. So we're going to go to a 2-week chart, give ourselves a few more candles, and draw some things. Support, flat, there's our flat. Okay, we got that out of the way. Some more local stuff going on. We got this weakness that I showed you guys earlier. Okay, that's nice. Now, let's go over a little bit further. I told you there's a more local weakness or not. So we're going to go all the way down to a daily chart, and it's going to be based on this last up move, and we're going to draw it. So right now it's already showing us it's going to give us this shape. We're going to go to a 2-day chart, and that's about all we need. All right, on a 2-day chart, it's showing that we actually have a shape more like this. So it's going to be more upper, like parabolic like this. So then we're going to use target system to find our next bottom for this crypto, rather than a parabolic going like this. I thought it would be a parabolic like this, but it's not. Okay. I'll use a smaller time frame to confirm that, although you don't really need to. I'm just going to do that. Okay, yep, it's still about the same shape. So again, our bottom is going to be straight up. So this is just straight weakness. Okay, so when we see that, we go to our parabolic. We go to our fixed range volume profile, second bottom out. Since we have 2 bottoms, we're going to do the farthest one out. And we have 2 tops, we're going to use the farthest top out. It's going to show us where our target is. It is, by the way, I'll let you guys do it. Where's the target for this one? For you newbies, based on target system, where is price supposed to fall? Show me on this chart. There's 3 areas we're looking to get to after that date of August 15th. Mark it on my chart, please, so we know what's happening. I just need to make sure you guys are paying attention and you know how to use these tools for yourself. Okay. Other teachers will use and call this order block, but we use fixed range volume profile specifically. So it's not just flat order block, but the larger order block based on the structures. Nobody knows where the targets are at? Am I doing it all by myself? Did you guys miss out? It's very accurate tool. If you don't know how to draw on my chart, use the zoom annotate feature. This is for all of you guys who took the target system module. Good. There's 1, there's 2, and where's the other? Where's the other? So we know what's going on. Good job, iPad. Where's the other ones? There it is. That's right. You see what he's drawing? The first one is going to be here. Okay, so after that date, we were looking for price to gravitate there. It came, we stopped, we broke through the signs of weakness. The next one is going to be down here, from here to here. So again, after August, we're looking for us to get to here. Price came there. You can see the candle coming all the way back up, trying to find support at that. Could not. We got closes below it. That's a sign of weakness. The next big targets are slightly below in this area, and another currently that tells us we're on the underside. So this is already sign of weakness. So if we're building underneath those areas, it's signs of weakness. The next target below is this one right here. That's their next stop. So if you're going to buy this, you need to pay that price and probably not more. Below that is and that's the real big one, by the way. That's the real big one. The highest peaks in the area. Okay? That's the highest areas. So this is going to be that target right there. So that's really where you're going to be trying to find a support and a bounce. Now, it doesn't mean I just want to pay that. You have a new downtrend you can draw. So I want to bounce from there and come into health. That would be my sign that I'm going to challenge. And we're almost certainly going to challenge. Okay? So now we can start getting a time frame from about when that might happen. Okay? And then finally I'll give you the other bottom, which is this one back here. Okay. Backup target. So let's draw it, and then you guys can have it navigated. So let's draw our down move. It's there. We'll make this big and white. We'll put our health marker. Anyone have any other questions while I'm working on this? Questions for me before I take my leave for today? Questions, comments, thoughts? Please continue your prayers for my niece. She's starting to come to. She needs a healing. The swelling seems to be going down. We'll need another update tonight. And I'll give you the top side, 8.810, 7.74. All right, yesterday was part 2 of the WordRoom message. Silence and seduction. Yesterday's message was the task and legacy. Very timely message, I believe. Listen to it on the podcast this week. It's on our website. Patreon.com/jsong_7. I'm going to draw the following so you guys have it. And then I want to look at one more thing. RSI. Curious.
Jason, iPad put up a good question.
Oh,
Probably a lot of people, including myself, would like to know, why do you think the prices gravitate to the low volume zones? What's the idea behind it? They want to test price?
I'm not really sure. I would think my initial suspicion would be easy pickings. It's if you've been in, the whole premise is, right, if we're going in uptrend, right, and we've been there all before, we've been all those areas. If you see a price that has very low volume, it can easily be reversed at those areas because there's no one really to trade at that area. If you blow past it on the other side, price should reverse still at those areas because no one was really willing to pay for those prices anyway. So that's the best price where price is going to reject because there's really no one to play with here. So it needs to gravitate back to up or down within its overall area. Now, why price goes there in the first place, I don't know, but that's probably why it reverses. I would suspect that it's maybe being targeted for easy pickings. Everyone in the market is playing the game. There's a type of manipulation, anything. We buy it in hopes that it will go up. We're trying to buy it and go up, but I think it's just easy pickings. But I'm sure someone more smarter is going to have a better answer. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. Every time I put a buy order into that zone, it seems like it still drops a little further into a higher volume. Like people, what I'm envisioning is if there's a high volume at a particular price point, they'll try to drive it back down because they know that's what people are willing to pay. That's the only thing I can think of. I am catching a couple videos on the volume spread there, and I'll let you know what I come up with here in a couple days.
Good. I used to go to a lot of the seminars online years back by Gavin Williams. He's Real nice guy, nice British guy. I think he's British. And but their volume is really small. When they're doing the program for years, it was like really tiny. I'm like, man, I can't even barely see that. I teach, the way I teach it is, you guys know, I like make it really big so you guys can actually see what's really happening. But a lot of people who use volume is really small. Order block is great because order block shows you can see it all on the left side and it's really big. That's how I like to gravitate toward it. All right, so yep, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, maybe after you're done there, I'd like to say something about Bitcoin.
Okay. All right, let me move this to the right, and then we'll get Camino's comments. Did you want them recorded, Camino?
No.
Okay. All right, I'll end recording. Okay, so what I'm looking for again is this. If this support is not holding on the weekly chart, it looks like we might be getting some closes below there, so it's not so super hopeful right now. I'm going to be looking more so for this area. That's going to be where my star is, with this one being a little bit less. The thing about the reason why the bottom may be hit is because of the larger supports, and maybe that wick is going to be right there, a verification of this line. So ultimately we want to have this challenge. Even if it's not a huge buying campaign, we're probably still going to gravitate here because of the sellers. So as we talked about, the increase in the lack of depletion and control of this area, and confirmed more by the decrease in lack of supply as Camino, lack of interest on the down moves. So the down move for selling has not really started. That could be confirmed later in the future, and then this would be still a bad area, but we'd probably want to see more signs of weakness in the board. So that'd be at two places. Number one going to be below that old flat, between, and I'll give you the price, $4.45, $3.95. So that's going to be that area. And the other area is below the larger parabolic, $3.0558. So again, if the sellers are still find that we have some absorption or control at the higher number of $12 on average, $13.75 to $12.23. So if we challenge back to this area up in the sky, back to $12, and we do see that we're not able to clear, which we're probably going to clear because of this increase. But if we can't clear it, and we do see like a dramatic decrease in volume, I'm looking for this to say that the sellers are not willing to give up. They're going to try to launch a campaign. But the decrease in volume tells me the sellers are not trying to launch a campaign and continue on. They're just taking big profits at high zones. That's it. They're not really ready to launch and distribute. So this is not a distribution phase. This is an oscillation phase, in my opinion. So we're looking there. Got it? Does everybody understand that? The lack of interest on the continuation down move says they're not following through with their attack. All they're doing is putting up a defensive maneuver at that specific price, $12. Or around those areas, okay? Closer to it. Well, here's a 9, right? 9? So somewhere around the top. But no follow through on the down move. They don't even want it. They're not really to dump it off all the way. Now that could be because I don't really see the major players coming in the game, but maybe they came back in here. We'd have to do a further examination of just those areas here, and maybe that's where the big players came in initially. But in my opinion, I think we're going to need a proper support. So we're going to either need some new money coming in on the lows, we're going to need some pushing and new money coming in on the top, or we're going to need some more coming in at that $4 to $3 range, $4 to $3.95. I don't think we're going to get all the way down here, but we'll know it when we see it. I don't even think we're getting really below there. So in my opinion, look for the challenge. This is a monthly chart. We'll be here for probably next year. We might see it. Okay. All right. And that's going to conclude my thoughts. I'll just draw my pictures and you guys can have it. God bless you. Anyone else questions for me before I end the recording?
Jason, I thought you wanted to go through the RSI.
Oh, did I? Yeah, let me take a look at the RSI. Yeah, I'll do that for you. Okay, so those are my big 3-star areas where I think we're going. Lower and lower. And I'll mark them down here. On my chart, so you guys all have them. 582. 665 and $12. $12.23. Okay. let me look at RSI and then I'll put the comments on the board. I'm neutral. RSI is neutral there. RSI is due for a reset, but the reset is holding really nice. So it's supposed to come down sharply, and it's not. That's a good sign for support in these areas where I'm moving my mouse. Good sign. At the support areas, we got a big pullback, right, in these areas, but RSI is supposed to come down sharply, and it didn't, and price even only found support there too at the old low. So some strength is coming into this crypto somewhere at these lows. Again, it's really far away. We're many months away from the support somewhere here, but I'm looking for this to hold on. So I'm not very bearish RSI. And on the daily chart, I will confirm neutral as well. Okay, so neutral as well. No big reversal signs right now, anytime soon. Allow me to place my comments on the board, and then we'll take final questions. September 9th, 29th. This crypto has strong sellers dumping. We observed this in today's video. It also does not have a strong selling campaign. This makes this crypto dangerous. However, one great thing is that the sellers failed to absorb supply at $12 area. This is important. Look for another challenge to 12.23 to 13.75 in the coming future. This was a monthly chart, so we should expect this in 2026, maybe even in 2027. Wait, son. So this is a monthly chart. We're looking for this to play out over a long time. This will play out over a long time. More locally, on the daily charts, we see targets lower towards $6.65 and $5.86. Ideally, we want to see a buying coming in, professional buying coming in. I expect to get to 6.65, but the buying coming in lower at 5.86, if any. A breakout is needed. A breakout is needed for the next up move above the white line. Currently around $9. So we got to get to about 9.83. Yeah. I don't expect that anytime soon. Okay. Price building on the target. I'm still looking to play there, and that's all that. And then I'll put RSI as neutral for you guys. RSI is neutral. All right. No other questions this crypto? I like to do case studies with you guys over and over, so you guys have why I read the way I read. Why I read the data the way I read the data, how it can help paint pictures on charts, what we're expecting, how you guys are going to be looking for that to play out. So I'm looking to get here, but I'm looking for buying to happen there. I'm looking to get up here in the future. It could play out over the year, next year. It could play out over a long time, but sometime in the future we're looking to challenge. Okay, on average it takes about half a year. May, September, June, May. So maybe 4 or 5 months on average. Anyone else? My questions? My thoughts? Okay. All right. Oh, what prices? Why do prices? Okay, sorry. iPad said. I think that was the question you guys asked earlier, right? Okay, yeah, you did. All right, I'll end the recording. We'll hear Mark's comments on Bitcoin. God bless you. Be right back. Remember, this is never financial investment or trading advice of any kind. Everything's just for entertainment, educational, comedic purposes only. I eat red crayons for breakfast. Trading in the markets carries substantial risk. Never trade more than you can afford to lose. And especially be aware against high leverage trading. Past performance is never indicative of future performance. God bless you.